Saranya, you can start, ma.
Can I start, ma'am?
Yes, ma.
Okay, ma'am. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Let today be the start of something new. Hello, everyone. Good morning to one and all present here. I am Saranya from 3rd CS. I feel very much happy to host this webinar. Today is the 23rd day of MAHA webinar marathon by our computer science department, webinar on life cycle of machine learning. Thank you for joining in today's session and a warm welcome to all. Prayer is the raising of one's mind and heart to God or the request of good things from God. Let us start this session with the prayer song with the blessings of Almighty.
ஐந்து கரத்தனை ஆனை முகத்தனை இந்தில் இளம் பிறை பாலும் ஏற்றனை நந்தி மகத்தனை ஞான கொழுந்தினை புந்தியில் வைத்து அடி போற்றுகின்றேனே.
நமஸ்தேஸ்து மகாமாயே ஸ்ரீபீఠே சுரபூஜிதே சங்கசக்ர கதாஹஸ்தே மகாலக்ஷ்மி நமோஸ்துதே. நமஸ்தே गरुडारूढे कोलासुरभयङ्करी सर्वपापहरे देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते. सर्वज्ञे सर्ववरदे सर्वदुष्टभयङ्करी सर्वदुःखहरे देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते. सिद्धिबुद्धिप्रदे देवी मुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदायिनी मन्त्रमूर्ते सदा देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते.
I call Shobana to deliver the welcome address.
Now I request Ms. Shobana from 3rd CS to propose welcome address.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. On behalf of our college, I welcome our chief guest Dr.S.Sasikala, MCA, M.Phil, SLET, Ph.D, Associate Professor of Computer Science, Institute of Distance Education, University of Madras, Chennai. We are grateful to her for accepting our invitation and becoming a chief guest of our today's webinar. And also, I welcome our Honorable Chairman, Sir S. Kunjalapadam Sir, and a trustworthy Managing Director, M.A.S. Tirukumaran Sir, and M.A.S.K. Sendil Kumar Sir, and a passionate principal, Dr. R. Kumidini Ma'am, and a motivating Vice Principal, Dr. S. Ramasamy Sir, and D.A.U. Indumadi Ma'am. And I also welcome our encouraging HODs and lovable staffs and beloved students present here. We are grateful to her for accepting our invitation and becoming a chief guest of today's webinar. Our chief guest does not require introduction as she is a well-recognized personality in her city. She is known for her wonderful works such as head in charge of Center for Web-Based Learning, member in CIQA, IDA University of Madras, member in Women Sexual Harassment, member in BOS Computer Science in Manoormaniam Sundaranath University. And apart from this, she also published many books and chapters. Some of them are chapter published entitled Tamil Kanini Muregalin Valarchi or Argal, and also published an international book in Apple Academic Press entitled Research Practitioner's Handbook on Big Data Analytics, and so on. And rather than all of these, she also organized many programs like one-day workshop, national level workshop on open power and artificial intelligence at IDE in collaboration with IBM on 28/2/2018. Next, faculty development program and virtual teaching for 2 days. We are so honored to have her as a chief guest for this webinar. I am certain that all the students, staffs, and one and all present here want their life to be like her. I wish this webinar enlightens us all and provide us with approaches to deal with the problems of tomorrow. Thank you to everyone who made this webinar possible. I have to complete my speech with a possible thought. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Thank you all.
Thank you, Shobana. A picture has the message to make a moment last forever. We would like to capture a snap of this remarkable moment with all your kind cooperation. May I request you all to kindly switch on your video for the visual photo. Thank you, everyone. I request our expected principal ma'am to say a few words.
Saranya, we can next session, ma'am. Ma'am will join later, ma'am. Saranya, you can hand over the session to ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Before we get started the session, I request everyone to kindly switch off your videos and audios. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into chat box. You may send your questions at any time during the presentation. We will collect these and address them during Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. I would now like to turn over the session to Dr.S.Sasikala ma'am to take the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shobana. Good morning to everyone connecting through this link. Very good morning to all. First of all, I thank the management of Mahalashmi College of Arts, Women's College of Arts and Science, And organizers of this webinar hackathon. Really, I wanted to see you, the organizer. So 100 days webinar, they said. Actually, I wanted to hear that one. This is the successfully you have completed 22 days, I think so. This is the 23rd day. Hopefully, you will get rocked about this 100 days, I think so. Best wishes for your hackathon. Thank you very much for inviting me for this webinar. I'm very proud to be here for presenting the machine learning, life cycle of machine learning. Machine learning, which is our part of our life nowadays. Without that, we couldn't able to survive it. Is it so? Yeah. So everyone we are using we are using mobiles. In this mobiles, each and every events, actions can be carried out with the use of machine learning algorithms only. See, we should know about that as a computer science students. The objective of this webinar is, I don't know about the organizers, but my objective of this presentation is I need to seed research motivation to the students, and though we are not at all end users, we are the developers for all the items what we have used, isn't it? So we should have a motivation to develop the things what we have used. Apart from that, what they have existed, and we must know about that, and what we need to improvise that one. What is the novelty we need to include in our day-to-day life? That and all we have to give input to the students, friends. So actually, I thought it is our webinar participants, audience, most of them are students only. I'm very lucky to that. So guys, you are all become developers. You must know about, you are not at all end users alone. You should develop many things with the use of machine learning algorithms in future. So, okay. Why we need a machine learning? So this is machine learning. Today's seminar is life cycle of machine learning. So why we need a machine? So when a man cannot able to do few things, at the time only the machine replace the thing, replace the worker. So at the time of can't able to manage the by human being, the machine will replace it, isn't it? So in our computer scenario, the data are generating. Is it audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. But your screen is not getting shared, ma'am.
Yeah, still I am not shared.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Just a minute, I am sharing. Is it see?
Yes,
Can you able to see?
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah. So with the machine can replace the man, isn't it? So when generating more and more data in this current scenario, how can we manage by ourselves? How can we manage in ordinary algorithms? For that only the machine learning comes. See, this machine learning is mainly used for generating and processing big data. It is a collection of, first I will give a few gist of a big data. That and all you knew about that. You heard many lectures like with the what is big data and how it will be managed, how it will be generated, etc. So I will touch that and go with that machine learning. how we are machine learning will be implemented in that. That is the objective of my talk, my seminar. First, you have to be what is the problem, how it will be implemented actually. So that is everyone should know about that. We have an idea to implement new things. So now, what is big data? The big data is a volume of data, isn't it? So that data can't able to be managed by normal traditional data processing applications, isn't it? So the data may be generated in web data, e-commerce, purchase, the department, online shopping, online booking, online applications, banking, ticketing, whatever we have, the social medias we are using, WhatsApps we are using. So we are generating more and more data individually. How is big data is different means it is automatically generated one, because the machine can generate the data. That's why it is very huge. We couldn't able to be managed. Typically, it is an entirely new source of data through the internet. So that with the use of internet only, we are sharing huge amount of data from one place to each individuals. Not designed to be friendly, but it is an text string, because it is not a structured one. It may be an object, it may be an image, it may be a video, audio, whatever it may be, streaming, text streams. It's not designed it's designed to be friendly. It's not a fixed structure. Okay. It may not have much value also, even though once we have received the data is not much value, but we are receiving. That is the commitment. Need to focus on important part, but we need to focus on important part. What are the characteristics of big data? You may all are known that is 5 V's. So volume is the amount, the being volume is this refers to the sheer volume of data being generated in every second. Huge amount of data to be processed. There should be a variety. So it is not fixed one. In the earlier days, the files with having a fixed data structures and all. So now each and every data received from the different gadgets and sensors and internet, with the use of that, it is a variety of data we are receiving. That and all we are processed. And veracity. Each and every data should have a trustworthy one. Then only you can go with the processing. Otherwise, it should not be processed. But without worthy data, we couldn't able to process it. The value means what? You should convert the individual collected data into a valuable one. Then only it will be useful to everyone. That is the application development. So given data has to be make it into value, user understandable, user likable. And then velocity. Velocity means what? The moment, the speed at which data is to be collected. So when we travel from Madurai to Chennai with the Indigo flight, it will be generating a huge amount of data in the generating in black box. So every seconds, every moment, it will be collecting the data of running speed and cloud states and route. Everything will be noted in the black box of the flight. So the velocity, you should be concentrate on that between the diverse data set, the occurring between the data sets. The changes of data speed will be diverse. Okay, so these are all the characteristics of big data. What are the sources of big data? We already know, I already said that. So each and individual having accounts of LinkedIn and Twitter, Facebook, Google, Gmail, and also YouTube we have seen. So Twitter's histograms, so many social medias are using day-to-day life. So we are always sitting with that. Many of them are sitting with the social medias only. So many of them are make it into useful, and many of them are wasting their time with that. So the clicking the streams from the web visitors, supermarket transactions, sensors, we are collecting data from the sensors. Apart from that, video camera footages. So in Google Maps and all, continuously getting footages from the thing. So, and GPS trails and social media interactions. These are all the sources of generating the big data. In earlier days, the big data are in a size of megabytes and measured in megabytes and gigabytes of data. But nowadays, the terabytes and petabytes, not only that petabytes, now zettabytes of data are generating the use of current analysis of sentiment analysis, sensor analysis, mobile devices we are using, user click streams, and spatial and GPS coordinates are using for our businesses, and audio and video images for cinema photographic and speech to text and text to speech conversions. They every moment natural language processing are using. So once we are using this much of information, the amount of data, volume of data also increased. So once we have a volume of data has increased, the variety of data we can receive. So once we have received variety of data, we should concentrate on keep it all the varieties into one structured form, and then make it into useful and make it into value. Okay. So what are the issues in big data? So all the data, I said, that is veracity, that is the trustworthiness. All the data what we have received, all are it not in a worthy one. It may manually they have given us data is a perfect one. Most data sets in practice deeply problematic one. So automatic generated data may have a problem of sensor problem, internet problem, or error causing due data loss, incorrect metadata about the sensor. What about the metadata? Data about data. So in a distributed database system, you may know the architecture of the systems, isn't it? In architecture of the system, there are a single processor is there. So we are using that one and giving input and process on model and get the outcomes, isn't it? This is the normal process what we are doing in day-to-day life. So when when you're using multi-processing system, so each and every individuals having a individual processing, individual systems, individual hard disk, everything. But the whole thing having a control in one server, that is having the metadata. So data about data is kept it in the server. Is there any problem in individuals can recover from the metadata? That's why we are keeping the metadata. Okay. Never trust the data without checking it. So you should check it. Everything is valuable one, trustworthy one. Then only you make it into valuable one. Okay. So that is whether it is your valuable one, the trustworthy one, it will be get it into garbage, and otherwise it will be garbage out. Okay. So in challenges, how you can manage it, how you can challenges achieve it. So now in a normal thing is a single central storage and serial processing. In the serial processing, input is coming, processing it, and output is given out. The lack of ability to process the unstructured data also in normal process. When you are concentrating on big data and distributed system and multi-processing system. So in distributed system, in the sense, each and individual having a own hard disk, own softwares, own CPU, own input-output devices, hardware, resources, everything is available individually, but have a control in server. And it is in parallel processing. So at the same time, many of them can do the process simultaneously, not serial processing. It is a simultaneous processing. So at the time of that is parallel processing, we can get a more throughput, isn't it? Yeah, job can do by one person is taking 1 hour means a job can taking doing for many n person means it will automatically, it will reduce the time, isn't it? So when you job is involved in multiple person means you should give multiple inputs and you should deploy the multiple processes and one output only. For achieving one output only, multiple person, multiple processes are doing. The ability to process every type of data. So we can access any type of data, not a issue of structure. This structure only can able to do, this structure only can able to process. So any type of data can access it. So, okay, this type of processing is called it as, when you talk about the big data, it is an analytics, analysis. So different types of analytics you should made over the data what we have collected. The descriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics means what? So what happened? So when a problem arises, what does the data already having? You should collect the data and what is happening in that in past. What has happened in past? That is analyzed. That is called it an descriptive analysis. What did it happen? Why did it happen? Why did it happen? Next one is the diagnostic analysis. Why it has happened? What is the reason it has happened? Why the fever is having with the particular person? You analyze the symptoms, isn't it? That is the diagnostic analysis. What will happen in future? What it will be happen? That is the predictive analytics. So with the analysis of past data, you can predict it next it will be happen. So with the use of, so what are the symptoms? What are the things analyzed with the patient? The doctor can say it will get this much of seriousness you will be getting once you are not taking attention. So that is the predictive analytics. The next one is how can we make it happen? Perspective analytics. So once we have the problem is analyzed, what is the problem will occur, what is the trend it will be occur, you may know that. So apart from that, what does the steps you need to take? You should give no. Then only you can achieve that one, isn't it? Achieve it in the future. That is the perspective analysis. Perspective analytics. In detail, descriptive data analytics means interpretation of historical data. Summarize the historical data in order to identify the patterns or meanings. It observes observations and case studies and surveys. These are all called it as a descriptive data analytics. With the use of historical data, what happened already, that you have to be analyzed with the available data. And then another one is the diagnostic data analytics. Why it did happen? Deeper analysis is given. It may help to determine that, as I said, patient symptoms, high fever, dry cough, and fatigue is there. You may get that. What are the symptoms you have? Why it has happened? Why it has corona happened? In earlier days, what at all happened? That and all you should analyze. Both descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics look to the past to explain what happened and why it's happened. Predictive analytics takes the historical data only and fed it into the machine learning model, and it considers key trends and patterns. The model is then applied to current data to predict what will happen next. Next, what it will be happen. So with the use of market analysis, how the customers' behaviors are there. So he must improve his business. So how we can step ahead of that by analyzing the customer requirements, customers' likings, analysis of customer sentiments. Everything should analyze it. Then only he will step forward to the enhancement of his business. So what they like, how we can present it in this store warehouses, how they are liking, what are the dress materials they are liking, what are all the fast moving items are there, what do we need to purchase more on that. Everything can be analyzed with the use of predictive analytics. How can we make it into analysis? So we should suggest various course of actions and outlines what the potential implication would be for each. Predictive analytics and perspective analytics use the historical data to forecast what will happen in the future and what action you can take it to achieve those outcomes, isn't it? So what are all the outcomes you need when you get an outcomes? What are all the things you need to do there? That and all you should give out there. That is the perspective analytics. In the perspective analytics, there are so many suggestions you may give. So everything you couldn't able to adapt in your business, isn't it? Then you go with that decisive analytics. In the decisive analytics, which one is the optimal one? You should visualize it. So think of it. So at the end user, you should think of that and you should adapt that suggestions and perform the exploratory analysis. What if and why? Why we need to go that? How do I get to there from here? How did I get here from here? There. That and all you should analyze and step over there and take the decision and implement it. So, okay, these analytics are carried out. Yeah, everything is finished. So how you can execute this? With the use of machine learning only. Without the machine learning, that is an automatic one. So that we can implement by a human being, but we couldn't able to do with a huge amount of we couldn't able to process huge amount of data, and we couldn't able to manage huge amount of customers, etc., and patients, etc. So even though a doctors can say the machines will replacing us, we don't want this machine, they couldn't able to say. So because more and more patients are there, individual doctor cannot able to diagnose each and every person, spending his time to every patient. So once the machine is given to that, by scanning it, it is identified that once from the reports, he can suggest the medicine and the next step, what he wants to do, that will be suggested by the person. So these machine can do everything. So that will be done by the machine learning. Okay. Machine learning is not a normal process. So normal process also in processing everything and all. Input data is given, set of instruction is given over the data and get the output is not a machine learning. So machine learning means you should give the experience around us. What we have had an past experience, that experience and all, give it as an input over the data. With that experience, it will be analyzed and give out as an outcome. That is the machine learning here. Machine learning is an application of artificial intelligence that provides the system the ability to automatically learn and improve from experience without being explicitly programmed. Learning means recognizing and understanding the input data and making wise decisions based on supplied data and its experience. A development of computer program that can access data and use it, learn for themselves. That is the machine learning. See how you can implement this, how you can implement this by stage. So like a normal project life cycle. So it is a machine learning is following some life cycle of a process. So once we identify, once we have business needs to have a machine learning means, first you should understand the business, isn't it? So once they get what is need for that, what is the requirement for that, you should analyze that. That is the business understanding. Next on is the data collection. The data should be collected regarding to that business, isn't it? Every data cannot help you in every problems. So which problem you need to solve, what type of data you need to collect, that you must concentrate on that. So once we have collected, you should prepare for process, data preparation. So data preparation means what? So you keep it into a one structure and transform it into one structure. That is called it as an exploratory data analysis. Exploratory data analysis means, so once we have, it's for example, whatever they have collected data is given it. For example, disasters happen in one place. It may be a flood, it may be a fire, it may be a earthquake or a tsunami, whatever it may be. So the data are collected and give it into it. So we couldn't be able to say what is next, what we need to go next. So first you should analyze the data, but you should explorate whatever data you have collected. With the help of exploration only, you identify the pattern. So this place need a help. So in this location needs a help for the particular persons. This location needs a food needy. This location needs some medicines and healthcare is needed. And this place is a need for shelter. This place is need for food. So like that, once we should explore the collected data, you can identify the pattern, what it needs, isn't it? So that is the exploratory data analysis. By visualize it, whatever data it is, we visualize it. Then only we can know about that. Then that will be, once it will be visualized and understand that, that will be fed it into one model, mathematical model. Once it is fed into, processed by the model, that will be evaluated whether we have achieved what we have expected, isn't it? So once we have the expected result is not, you should deploy it into a user. So once, for example, market basket analysis in that. So in the market basket analysis, so we forecast in future what they have, customers expected, what they have liked. That will be when you develop a model, kept it in a market, then we should get an input from the real time from the customers and or test it. Once we have tested it, it will be implemented in the web service as a web service, isn't it? So these are all the different stages in life cycle of a machine learning. Why I am explaining these things means, as a computer science students and computer science faculties, everyone should have a motivation of doing research. So why, when it arises research, so when it is a commitment is happen, when a commitment is need occur, we automatically go with the research. So when a fever and corona came, automatically we should research on the website where is the vaccination is given, where is the bed is available, where is the oxygen is available. We go with the search on that. So like that, when a commitment, when a need is happened, the research is automatically will come. So we are as a vendors, the flower vendors and vegetable vendors, or everyone are using mobiles and they are using Google Pay, and purchase orders are placed through mobiles, everything. So we are also using the same thing. Means what is the use of studying the computer science? So now we are not at all end users. We are the developers. How they are currently developing by the scientists. So with the help of them, we should go one step ahead and move forward with it. Before that, what is happening within that? So while you are booking a ticket, booking a cab through Uber or Olo, you should just use clicking and getting a driver's number and call them and traveling with enjoying means it is not a computer science. It is not a useful one for a computer science students. You should think of that, how the routes are analyzed, how the locations are recognized in the system. So with the use of GPS system, latitude, longitude, location is capturing Google systems. So Google map, from the Google map it is getting, and how route is establishing from one place to another place. That and all, how it is be happen. You should think of that. Each and individual computer science student should think of that. You don't sit and enjoy with the travel. So how it is happening, once you think of that, automatically you go for the research, and how you can, how it is happening when you think of that, automatically you search in that Google, isn't it? So so many things we are searching and doing, using unnecessarily in sitting with social media and sharing the informations, photographies, videos, etc., etc. So once we think of what is happening in the system, how we are utilizing this application here to there. So the routing, how it will be established, shortest path algorithm. In data structure, what we have studied, that only we have established, along with some data mining concepts. It's mining its group cluster data. So how the route is established. And apart from that, it is, so many paths is there, even though it is showing a one single path, how it will be happen. The traffic is analyzed. So it is clustering the concepts is established over there. The data mining concepts established over there. The basic concepts, if you know, you can establish whatever you like. Okay, the basic thing is data structure. You should have a well studied and thorough knowledge in data structures and C++ and C programming. You may get through all the things, and database management systems and data structures. So these things are well known about your thing. As this is the core of the computer science, from where we can travel with whatever you want in future. Technologies may come and go. So you should adapt with that, means you should have a basic knowledge about that. That is the data structure concepts and database management system and operating systems. These three concepts only in a computer science. Okay, with the use of some basic thorough knowledge about any one of the language, C++ or C. Okay. Okay, with the use of that, you can go with that. You can implement whatever you think. So I'll give a gist of how we can implement, how it is happening, what is happening a machine learning algorithm within that. I'll give a gist. Based on that, you can explore it and you can get through in future. Business understanding. This is the first stage of the machine learning life cycle. The specify or analyze of the problem and fix the requirements. What requirements need for the business, you should analyze that. Next one is the data collection. Data collection means what? So data collection may be happen in two ways: a primary data collection and secondary data collection. What is the primary data collection means? By giving questionnaire and collecting the information. You may heard about that the Google Forms many Google Forms are coming for collecting the primary data about particular problem. So when you go with the malls, they are giving us slips and questionnaires. What is you are liking, what you have understood, everything. So for example, when you're using WhatsApp call, automatically it is asking us about the quality of the WhatsApp call. Everything is asking, no, that is the primary data. Secondary data means what? Secondary data means already historical data. So already they have collected and kept it in a repository that is used for our analysis. That is called that secondary data. So we can collect it. Nowadays, It is not at all useful for primary and secondary data for analysis. Streaming of data. Streaming means what? Streaming means collecting data from the sensors, isn't it? So in Facebook and Twitter and the date, moment by moment, the informations are coming, isn't it? So this is the streaming of data that should be analyzed in the machine with the use of machine learning. And data exploratory, I said no. So received data should explore it. What is available in the data? That would be visualized in graph, either in a pie chart or a bar chart or a line chart, whatever it is, visualize it. With the use of so many tools are available nowadays. Tableaus are for visualizing a very perfect one. So, for example, nowadays the corona patients, how much of corona patients affected in each and every state, they have displayed in state by state wise, and along with the spatial data will be given with it. With the use of tableaus only they have given. So, okay. So this visualization, exploration is very, very must. Then only we can understand and fix the problem and give the solution for that. So when moment by moment, second by second data are received, but we couldn't able to process everything in as a whole. You should group it into one and make it into one thing and do that one. So you should find out the mean, median, and standard deviation and find out that. So full college, for example, when you study about a college performance means, we couldn't able to analyze individual students' performance. So class performance or department performance is more than enough for analyzing a college performance, isn't it? So like that only you should group it and analyze it. Visualization methods are histograms and line plot, scatter plots, correlations and trends. The correlation trends and all by giving the bar charts and histograms. Determining the outliers. When you explore the data at the time of analysis only, what are the outliers? What are the unnecessary data are available? So from where we can standard mean square error is identified. These data will be deleted. These data, whether you want to include or delete everything, that and all you should analyze with the help of exploration only. Next one is the data preparation. Data preparation in the sense what? This is one part of the exploration only. Data preparation, see, whatever we have collected, everything we couldn't able to take it into for process. So very few concepts only taken for the process. That is the feature selection. What is the features here is attributes. So a file means what? A student file means what? Student serial number, name, address, mark 1, mark 2, mark 3, course details, everything, isn't it? Personal details, sports details, etc., etc. So these are all the attributes. So what we need to going to analyze it. So like that, for example, in a patient details, so many a patient of a cancer affected patient means you're collecting so many things, but for particular cancer, what you need to concentrate on that. That particular attribute value is whether it is high or not, or whether it is moderate. That and all you should analyze it. So the features should be selected for analysis. That is the important thing for the data preparation. And another one is a feature transformation. Feature transformations means, so whatever data collected as, it may be a categorical one. Categorical means what? True or false, or yes or no, or it may be a descriptive one, it may be a continuous one, it may be a value one, it may be a image one, whatever it may be. So the collected data should be transformed into mathematical form. The model can understood only a numbers, isn't it? So you should convert into numbers. That is the transformation. Okay. These two things should have a important in data preparation, that is feature selection and feature transformation. In the feature selection itself, there is an different thing you must understand that. So for machine learning, the basic mathematical concept you should know about that. Basic mathematical concept is not a very tedious one, just a simple statistics only. That is already we have studied in +1, +2, 10th itself. So with the concept of a basic statistical knowledge and mathematical knowledge, you can get through our machine learning models. Algorithm. So with the use of machine learning, when you perfect feature selection means machine learning algorithm will train the faster, and it reduce the complexity of models, makes it easier to interpret, it improves the accuracy. So best feature selection, once you have selected, means you can get through a correct, accurate result from that. So what are the tests? What are the operations carried out by the use of some statistical method? How you can select it? You couldn't able to say this feature is, this attribute is taken for this one, this attribute is taken for this one. How you can identify that? So when a patient data, the patient is disease affected or not, that is the target variable, isn't it? Target variable, otherwise we can call it as dependent variable. Remaining things and all independent variable. How the dependent variable is more correlated with the independent variable, that you have to be identified that. For that identification, you should apply some statistical calculations about the thing. These are all the different, just a minute. Yeah, these are all the some analytical, statistical analytics you made carried out over there. That is Pearson correlation. Just a minute. Pearson correlation, linear discriminant analysis, Anova and chi-squared. So Pearson correlation can carried out if the two attributes are continuous one. If linear discriminant analysis is carried out when a categorical data, categorical attributes and continuous attributes are correlated, or if you want to analyze in that. So when you want to analyze categorical as well as continuous variables, means you go with an Anova test. So when you going to analyze the categorical as well as an continuous variable, categorical variable means both are categorical variable, means you go with a chi-square test. So with the output of these tests only, that the variable, that attribute is taken for the analysis or not. You should think of that. The set of all features from where you are selecting the best subset by applying these statistical methods, and then go with an learning algorithm, and performance will be get out from that. The features are selected on the basis of their scores in various statistical tests for their correlation with outcome variables. See, these are all some methods, Pearson correlation. When it will be used for Pearson correlation? So, for example, a child height is increased when age is also increased, isn't it? So, here it is used quantifying the linear dependence between the two continuous variables. Age is also increasing, the height is also increasing the baby. The value between from -1 to 1. If it is increasing, when you say increasing means above 0.5, it is decreasing means below 0.5. Isn't it? So this type of problems we analyze with the use of Pearson correlation. And LDA, linear discriminant analysis. Linear discriminant analysis for categorizing that one. So when classifying it one, for example, a patient affected by cancer or not, affected by diabetic retinopathy or not. Eye images will be analyzed by classifying into different levels by binary classification, multi-classification. Binary classification means either it affected or not. Multiple classification means multi-classifications means, for example, a disease affected either mild, moderate, and severe. So like that, so many classifications also there. So depends upon the labeling of placed in the data. For that case, you should analyze that with the use of LDA. Anova. Anova is two ways of we can analyze with that. One-way Anova and two-way Anova. One-way Anova tells you if dependent variable changes according to the level of the dependence variable. Level of the dependence variable. What is that? Can I give one example? I'll give one example. A sleep per night of a person changes according to the use of social media groups. So many groups are using means he will sit with a day full night at all. So the sleep of a particular person time is reduced. So that and all we should analyze with the use of Anova. That is here. Anova analysis is analysis of variance operated using one or more categorical independent features and one continuous dependent features. So now you understood what is that, why, where we are using which type of test. Then only that variable will be selected for processing. Selected for processing. Size squared applied to the groups of categorical features to evaluate the likelihood of correlation or association between them using their frequency distribution. For example, to compare the observed results with expected results. See, frequency of marketing, the particular items, how frequently it will be purchased by the customer. That and all analyzed, what we have predicted, to compare it. So we thought now we have purchased and kept it in a warehouse, one volume of items, but whether it is sold out or not, you should compare with that. What you have predicted, what has actually happened. That is the thing is analyzed with the use of chi-square. Okay, this analysis selections of individual attributes in the available data set, what we have collected with the use of a filter method, wrapper method. There are so many things are there. So wrapper method is, filter method is this one. Wrapper method means select of all features, within that generate a subset, I give it into a learning algorithm. So with a learning algorithm, it will get the output that will be replaced, whether it is improved the performance or not. First you find out. If it is improved means you leave it, that the variable is taken for the analysis. If it is not improved means you should delete it and then train again them with the previous model. Okay. In the wrapper method, there are three things are there: forward selection, backward elimination, and recursive feature elimination. So what is the forward selection means? Start with having no features in the model. One by one, we have added. You see the performance. If the performance is good, you have included. Otherwise, you should delete it. That is the forwards. Likewise, you should improvising the subset. And backward elimination means you take all the features what we have collected will be kept it in that. And then you should check the performance. If the performance is reduced, you remove one feature. If the once after that you should perform it. If it is give good result, you should delete it. So again, you should delete one more thing. So whatever features is not necessary for this analysis. So likewise, you should improve your performance. Recursive feature elimination means it is a greedy optimization algorithm which is aimed to find the best performing feature subset. It will randomly select it and analyze it whether it is best set, and if it is best one, you should take it as it in to process. Otherwise, it is in worst case, it will be delete from that. So in that recursively keep on embedding and searching over that. This is the thing, is the recursive thing is happen in that embedded method. In that generating subset, applying to the lab machine learning algorithm, along with that you identify the performance. If the performance is good, it will be give it into as an input for the machine learning model. Otherwise, it will be keep on generating different, not a generating, it will including the features in the process. Okay, the embed methods, the combine and qualities of a filter and wrapper method. It is implemented by algorithm that have their own built-in feature selection method. Still now, we are selecting the features for analysis. So how you can to be transfer it? That is the transferring. Feature transformation. Mapping is otherwise we can call it as a feature transformation. For example, video images having a frames of images, isn't it? So each and every frames of images are analyzing is you need a huge amount of computing time as well as in a storage space also. So first you should ultimately whatever solution you have got it should give it in a quick manner. Smart one, isn't it? That only we are expecting. So that's why it should be mapped. So once, for example, if you want to make it into 10 cross 10 image, 10 cross 10 images means 10 pixels rows and 10 pixels columns, you make it into 1 pixel. And correspondingly, you should apply some mathematical concepts over there and you reduce into, map into reduced form. And the same thing, scaling. That is, when you grouped into one thing, find out the mean, standard deviation, from where it should be, identify the concepts and description about the data. And then filtering. Filtering means it is mainly used with the images. When you are handling the images, it filter the noises, background things, etc., etc. The main thing is dimensional reduction. So what I said is, so 10 cross 10 pixels may be converted into 1 pixels. And it will be spooling. It will be, we can say, spooling in deep learning network. So we'll see one by one later. So these are all the dimension reductions. Once we have reduced dimension, then you apply the machine learning model either in a classification or a clustering or supervised and unsupervised or reinforcement, whatever model you have applied in the reduced format means we can get through easily and quickly. Okay, dimension reduction is the transformation of data from high dimensional space into a low dimensional space, so that the low dimensional representation retains some meaningful properties of original data, ideally close to its intrinsic dimension. So another method is called the factor analysis. So the exploratory factor analysis and confirmatory factor analysis are the two types are there. So once we have exploratory, I already said to that you visualize it and you should group it into a mean, median like that. So you can analyze the factors, what already have in the data. And one more familiar dimension reduction concept is principal component analysis. It is a technique. The variables are transformed to a new set of variables, which are linear combination of original variables. This new set of variables are known as a principal components. It will changing the dimension of the data and give it into a reduced format and for getting accurate and fastest results from the analysis. Then now the data preparation is over, data exploration is over. So now you apply some model, isn't it? So which, according to the data, what type of model is applicable for this application? So when data having labeled, so it will be when you go with a supervised learning. So when data is not labeled, so it is an unknown thing. You should identify the label means you go with the unsupervised learning. So whether the data is available or not available. So there is a vague thing is happening, gaming thing. So a new thing has arrived in, depends upon the environmental change when you go with an reinforcement learning. So these are all the different type of machine learning algorithm models you need to choose according to the data what you have, what we have available, and also according to the application what you want to do. So for example, in the supervised learning, classification, regressions, these operations are models are implemented over there. These where they applied as fraud detection, emails spam detection, diagnostic systems, image classification. So in that case, we are applying the classification things. Risk assessment. So financial risk assessment, inventory risk assessment, store warehouses risk assessment, that and all carried out with the use of logistic regressions carried out, score predictions in that. Supervised learning in that, and the dimension reduction and clustering is happen in the unsupervised learning. In that dimensional reduction in that text mining. So whatever text in our document could not able to take it as for practice for your process, you should reduce into a keywords. That is the dimension reduction, isn't it? Face recognition. Even though whole face we have take it as an image, we couldn't able to process for recognition. So only the eye features, so nose features and eyelid features, retina features. These are all the features are used for recognition of a face. Then only we can analyze the face, whether the person may have a beard or may not have beard, even though it will be recognized. Only because of these prominent feature alone take it as for recognition, isn't it? Big data visualization, image recognition, everything will be happen with the use of unsupervised learning. And clustering is also used for the biology, city planning, and targeted marketing. When you go with a reinforcement learning means gaming thing. So when you reach on place in a game, we don't have any past knowledge. According to the environmental thing only, you should think of that. So from the current position, you should decide it where you want to go next. So that and all analyze with the use of reinforcement learning. So in that financial sector, manufacturing, inventory management, robot navigation, so that and all implemented with the use of reinforcement learning. So now which model is adopted for which application? For example, in a supervised learning, I already said the training data with the correct answers, labeled data. Correct answers are if you have to go with a supervised learning. Use training data to prepare the algorithm, then apply to data without correct answer. See, for example, get labeled training that you may see this thing as frequently. Is this apple or banana? Obviously, it is labeled as apple, so it is go with the train new model. Classification input. This is the supervised learning is presented to the machine learning model, and task is to predict the target corresponding to the input data. So one more method, one more example is here. So apple and cakes are there. Machine learning model. Unseen and unlabeled data is given as a machine learning model. Is automatically it will be detected as a cupcake. So in that classification with the use of decision tree. So I already said. So here the loan is able to, even bankers, if a particular person can able to pay the loan amount or not, whether we can give a loan or not. So everyone, when you go with the bank, if we asking loan means they couldn't able to give directly. They should analyze our background. No? So that is whether cheat or he will be cheat or not. He should think of that. This is here. The cheat is a variable in this. Cheat is a variable, is a target variable. That is a dependent variable. But remaining refund, marital status, and taxable income, these are all the independent variables. But have an category, that is a type of the variable is refund is categorical. Yes, no only. Categorical means single, married, and single, married, divorced. These three type of categories only. In taxable income, the continuous variable is given. So when we analyzing that, when analyzing model, so these are all the feature only we have taken for the analysis. But before that, in loan details, so many variables are collected. But here, how we can construct a decision tree with the selected feature. With the selected feature itself, you should think of that for constructing the decision tree. For constructing the decision tree, why we are constructing the decision tree? You make the rules. You need to analyze the prediction of a future, isn't it? So how you can predict the future? So first you take the root node for analysis, for fixing the decision tree. So root node is whether he is refund or not. One categorical variable. Yes, no. And another one is, another variable is, you need to think of that. Refund, splitting attribute is refund. Refund, no. So once he can able to refund means nothing, you can give the loan. If he is not able to refund, you should think of that his marital status, whether he is single or divorced or married. Married, no. Single or divorced means, so whether he is taxable income or not income. See whether it is less than 80K or greater than 80K. So if it is greater than, even though single and divorced, greater than 80K means he can able to refund he will not to be cheat us, isn't it? So these are all the decisions, rules should make before you take a decision. Okay. So this way you have to construct the decision. So now you understood how it is happening over there. So features are selected. Even though the features are selected, in the decision tree, once we have taken the decision, which one is the root node, which one is the sub node and sibling nodes and all. See, listen here, 3 categorical variable only you have taken as, and here one continuous variable is taken for final decision. Where you want to take, that should you think of that. Depending upon the gain and entropy of individual attribute will be identified. So everything is a statistical formula is applied over the available data. You can make it into use for your process of a model. Okay. Supervised learning's algorithms are nearest neighborhood and naive-based decision trees, linear regression, support vector machine in some neural networks also. Unsupervised learnings are without labeling, isn't it? Without labeling. There are a group of fruits are there. So you have it may be a red apple or green apple or yellow apple, whatever it may be. And with a shape only we should refine, train the model to group similar items. group the similar items together. That is the clustering. It will, according to some distance, based on some distance, it will be grouped and shape some attributes. So distance in the sense, it may be a shape, it may be a distance between the two places, everything will be. So next one, apple is occur, which group is occur. So like that, clustering is a classification of object into different groups, or more precisely, the partitioning of data set into subsets, so that the data in each subset share some common trait, often according to some defined distance measure. The distance measures may be Euclidean distance, Manhattan distance. There are so many distance calculations are there. So based on that, here all are round balls only. With the colors and textures, it will be differ. The pattern will be differ. According to that, it will be grouped and classified. So initially, we doesn't know. All are balls only. Isn't it? Which one is football, which one is a baseball, etc. That will be identified individually without label initially. But at the time, you go for the clustering. Clustering algorithms are K means clustering association rules and KNNs. And final one is the reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning algorithms is called an agent. Continuously learns from the environment in an iterative fashion. So we couldn't able to say initially this is the path to target. So you should go step by step and identify the different paths and different solutions and go ahead with the get a target. So agent is action is taken according with the environment. So reward will be given. So other next state will be coming, then next action will be taken. So it will be keep on iteratively changing the thing. Deep neural networks are the some examples for this one. So once we have the transformation is taken, data preparation is taken, everything completed, and then model is selected according to the data, whether it is labeled one, not labeled one, or reinforcement one, isn't it? So the once the model is applied, so what are the algorithms are existing that will be applied. Next one is evaluated, whether it is predicted one, what we have expected one is achieved or not. See, initially, what is the requirements we have analyzed? No, that requirements are achieved or not. By keep on training the model. With the use of these such models, you train the data, 60% of the data will be applied for training, and remaining 20% of the data for validation test. Once we have arrived the result, validate it to make sure that is there any overfitting is occur or not. Overfitting or underfitting, whatever the variables, it validate it. So normally whatever a program we have developed, you should validate it by giving the inputs. No, the 20% of the input is given for the validation test. So apart from that, so once we have validated it, then you train the test. Remaining 20% of the data will be applied for testing set. Testing set means real-time applications or real implementation. At the time of implementation, you test the data. So whatever possible data, everything will be tested and analyze it, whichever is whatever happening, whether it is successfully achieved or not, everything will be tested by testing phase. That is called the inferences. Once we got it, that is called the inferences. These inferences implemented in applications. So that each and every model is evaluated with the use of confusion matrix. That is the usual procedure. Handout method is also we have used. In research side, the confusion matrix is used for predicting the that is calculating whether calculating the accuracy between the predicted class and true class. The true positive, false negative, and true negative will be calculated, and according to that you should calculate the sensitivity and specificity of the particular outcomes or inferences. Apart from that, accuracy also you should identify that. Once we have achieved the above 95% of accuracy, that will be implemented in a real-time application. So in that case, some negative prediction is also, that is predicted positive and it's false, predicted negative and it may be false. That is some errors may occur. How that errors can be rectified at the time of evaluation time only, you can identify that whether it is error free or not. So that type 1 error or type 2 error, these errors, how you can rectify that will be used, that will be rectified by the developers. So this may be graphically represented by ROC curve. Receiver operating characteristics. So there is a line between trade-off, that is area under ROC curve is measure of the accuracy of the model. When a model is closer to the diagonal, it is less accurate, and model with perfect accuracy will have an area of 1. So here diagonal line is there. So the above the diagonal level of the particular curve is, that is the curve is drawn with the correlation of, that is sensitivity and specificity. Sensitivity means true positive rate and specificity means false positive rate. So this relation is between the sensitivity and specificity is good. So it is a good results. You can implement with the thing. The final, once we got the inferences accuracy, we can conclude that this model is working correctly, and inferences, what we have found out is what we have targeted already. Everything is completed means you should deploy it. So deployment means first whatever you model you have generated, that make it into one object. Save it, the machine learning model as an object. Then it will be transferred the machine learning derived rules to the custom function. Yeah. So once we have developed one, means you kept it in a market and receive from the input from the customers and apply it, make it for the prediction, whether predicted one is correct or not. Create an API to receive input and make a prediction. Now the application interface is created with continuously getting the input from the users and predict the results. So huge number of input is given, then only we can identify that whether it is working properly or not. So okay, for that one you make it, to create an API for that, and that will, once it is successfully satisfied with all the inputs what we have received from the API, you embed the ML model inside a web application for user end. Okay, that is applicable for us. So the applications, you may know that so many applications we are using. So in e-commerce, manufacturing, healthcare, banking, transport, finance. So nowadays, whatever we have seen in the YouTube, next day, automatically this same related videos are giving us an input for your easy access in Google Maps. Very much useful for us every day-to-day life, from one place, moving from one place to another place. So apart from that, social medias, so automatically tagging with the use of face recognition. So I am a Facebook holder, account holder means my photography may have any one of my colleagues or maybe with their group photo, automatically they will tag to my friends. So with the use of deep facing only. Transportations in Uber, how it will be identified? Already I said it is identifying our location, whether it is home or frequently going office location. Automatically it will detect it and identify the traffic between one place to another place, and path between one place to shortest path between one place to another place. That and all done by the machine learning through that only. OTT is what? Over the top. So whatever we have seen today, next immediately that relevant informations for recommendations are given, isn't it? The movie selections and for item selections for the purchase, everything, dress selections, everything will be recommended. Voice and sign assistance. See, Sri in Apple and Alaska in Amazon, Alaska. Sophia means humanoid assistant, humanoid robot. And Eagle 2.0, a teacher assistant. They have already implemented in Bangalore school, no? International school. The sign assistant for deaf and dumb peoples, for news. So everything can be done by the machine learning only. This Sri and Alaska is very much useful for searching and analyzing and entertaining. Everything will be useful for us, isn't it? And smart response in Gmail. Yeah. So the mail, it's coming automatically. This I will be available. So when inviting for a meeting means I will be on time. So automatically the messages come generating. Once we click, automatically it is coming, isn't it? So these are all the Gmail applications are given. And healthcare. So many applications are implemented with the use of healthcare and automatic car driving, Tesla. And when a system gets any trouble, automatically it will give suggestions what type of software you need to install and what type of software you need to do. So that cost and description, everything will be given. Google Translate. So natural language processing is applied over there whenever we go. So when you go with the North Indians, we doesn't know about Hindi or Arab. In Arab countries means automatically by texting the thing, whatever we think, automatically it will be given as an Arabic language or Hindi language, whatever it may be. You want to communicate with them, that we can communicate with the person where you want with the use of natural language processing. Walmarts for recommendation systems. So everything, Hadoop and NoSQL technologies are providing the internal customers with access to real-time data collected from the different sources. McLaren Racing Limited, the race car is generated with the use of machine learning without getting input from the drivers. So it will set a sensors and analyze it himself. By reinforcement learning, they have developed this race cars in British formula. In Singapore, healthcare patient informations are keep on collected and give the recommendations, medicines and assistance for the treatment given for them. In Bangalore, water supply and sewage board, they have used machine learning algorithm with the use of with the collaboration of IBM technologies. So how much of water supply is distributed in each and every places, that may be identified and distributed with the use of machine learning algorithms only. So many things we can say, tons and tons of applications in machine learning. So it will not be stopped. So data repositories, how you can collect the data. I said independent, that is secondary data is also available. Primary data is also we can collect, isn't it? So secondary data repositories also available in our internet, NCEI for environmental data, SMER medical images data, and ICPSR, UMIC. These are all the biological data, educational data is there. This HIV addiction data. So when you go with the research, that should be in useful for society. That way of data you may collect, and then you apply the machine learning algorithms and you apply for that. And OSF, this is social science data, and ICS, UCI data are there, machine learning repositories, so many Kaggle, Dune, so many repositories are available for giving you the data. You can collect it and apply the machine learning algorithm and test it. So after that, then only you may get an idea about what you new algorithm want to develop for the new applications. So I hope you all going to think of what we are using, how it is working, and what you need to do for research. I think so. So if you can study by yourself with the use of online courses also, you don't expect from the teachers and all. So you can open with the internet and Coursera, EDX, Udemy, and online NP12, Swayam. There are so many online platforms are there for online courses for new technologies. You can learn through them and implement through all data. Thank you so much for your patient listening. If you have any doubts on that, please feel free to ask me.
Girls, if you have any questions, you can ask, Ma. Saranya. அவளை மியூட் எடுத்து விட்டாதான் சரண்யா அவளை பேசணும்.
ஜோதி மேம், சரண்யாவை அன்மியூட் பண்ணுங்க ஜோதி மேம்.
Yes, ma'am. Can I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your useful guidance. And we will go ahead and take some time for Q&A sessions. Just a reminder, please be sure to ask or type your questions in the chat box.
Mahalashmi, என்ன question சொன்ன?
I have some questions, ma'am.
அவளே கேக்குறா.
Yes, ma'am. What are the advantage and disadvantage of the machine learning life cycle, ma'am?
Life cycle is only advantage only. It is not disadvantage. Nothing in that disadvantage is here.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Life cycle is a stage-wise process, isn't it? So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
have to be follow when you achieve the thing of result or outcome what you expected.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Why is the machine learning life cycle is important, ma'am?
Without having a life cycle of without following life cycle of a particular process, you couldn't achieve correctly.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. How to implement big data, and what about the career opportunities in machine language life cycle?
Pardon once again?
How to implement big data, ma'am? And what about the career opportunities in machine learning life cycle, ma'am?
Yeah. How to implement big data? That is the solution. As machine learning is the solution for implementing the big data. Here, life cycle career is not at all there. So when you go with the machine learning algorithm, when you development of a machine learning algorithm, you may get an huge opportunity in MNCs like Amazon, Infosys, like company, Google and Apple companies are.
Okay,
Your
ma'am. Thank you,
career
ma'am.
opportunities are there.
And last question, ma'am. How to managing the complete machine learning life cycle, ma'am?
When you go with by stage perfectly, you can manage the life cycle of machine learning.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes.
It's look like we have covered all of our questions. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
And may I request our respected principal, ma'am, to say a few words about machine learning life cycle.
Saranya, ma'am have left, ma. So
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Gratitude means recognize the good in your life. Be thankful for whatever you have. Each day, give thanks for the gift of life. Now, I request Ms. Rubini from 3rd CS to propose the vote of thanks.
Saying thank you is more than a good manner. It's a good spirituality. Good afternoon, everyone, one and all present here. I am Rubini from 3rd year Computer Science. It is such an honor for me to get the opportunity. Thank you all dignitaries on behalf of Mahalashmi College. I extend a great thank to the people in this gathering. I would like to express my gratitude to all esteemed delegates of the webinar for their presence and contribution to make this webinar a great success. I extend my gratitude to our honorable resource person, Dr. S.Sasikala ma'am, to take out time from her busy schedule to grace the event. Thank you for inspiring and encouraging us with your words on this special day. A special thanks to our honorable chairman, Thiru S. Kunjithabadam sir, our managing director, Mr. S.K. Tirukumaran sir, and Mr. S.K. Sendilkumar sir. And I also thank our enthusiastic principal, Dr. S. Kumudini ma'am, who's being grateful to people and make us supporting and happy. Also, I express our deep gratitude to our vice principals, Dr. S. Ramasamy sir and Dr. U. Indumadi ma'am for their presence in this meeting. I thank our beloved HOD, Mrs. R. Jyoti ma'am, to organize a webinar even amidst the pandemic. I thank our supporting staff members and technical members. I thank all the students who attended the MAHA webinar marathon for paying attention and learning. Once again, I thank everyone. Thank you.
thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, can we wind up the session, ma'am?
Okay, thank you for giving me the opportunity for the organizers. Thank you for the thank you for Krishna Lakshmi also.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Once
Bye.
again, thank you, ma'am,
Thank
for
you. Thank
answering
you.
those questions and for the great presentation. It was pleasure to have you with us, ma'am. So this concludes the webinar. Thank you all for attending. We hope you have learned and enjoyed this presentation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.